I got rubber band, something I can fix.
Yeah. Is there another mask out there?
Yeah.
I'll get one. All right, y'all. Excuse me for being late. But we getting them started. Here, bro. All right. We're getting them started, y'all. Technical difficulties sometimes in life. All right. Yeah, it's gonna be hot.
Yo, what's good?
All right.
What's happening? You know what up.
Yo, bro. Set me up there. Hooking it up, fixing them up. All right. Yo, can you turn my camera just a little bit? Those of us that indulge in for custodial electoral dollars don't do so for the pleasure of mental masturbation or use.
It's not grinding.
We do so because it changes the expression of those moments are deep and difficult to remove. Good morning, my children of the sun. Welcome to the Open Eye on WHGE 95.3 FM, the education advocacy station. I'm your host, Patrice Gibbs. Yes, indeed, your third eye optometrist, joined by my partner of consciousness. As there, Nsoromma, dealing with people getting in on the phone. I see some people already clocking in with us. Sorry, we was 10 minutes late. As we're, stuff happens. That's how it goes with live radio. Sometimes stuff happens. That's where, there's so much going on. Y'all. First of all, let me help y'all clear some things up. All right, and this is for you religious people. And I guess I came up on this one because one of our Open Eye contributors posted this, and then I ran into a guy that decided he wanted to pray on me and help me with my sins. You got me mixed up with somebody. All right, look. First of all, you were not born with a book strapped to your ass. All right? You did not come into the world with a Bible or a Quran or a Torah or a Talmud or whatever strapped to your ass. You were not born a sinner. No one is. You do not need anyone's forgiveness, and certainly not some god or a sky wizard that some people from Europe made up. You don't owe him anything. You don't need a savior to cleanse your soul because there is nothing wrong with you. I'm truly sorry you were brought up to think so lowly of yourself. Abrahamic faith only teaches you to be ashamed of yourself and your human nature. I've never regretted leaving your God behind. Once you realize that you are not a sheep, you understand that you do not need a shepherd. Dove and I, WHGE 95.3 FM. Let me get this little thing out the way right quick. All right. The views and opinions expressed on Open Eye are those of the host, guests, and contributors, and do not reflect the policy or position of WHGE 95.3.
Good morning, y'all. What's happening? Steve, you know what I'm saying? Vaughn, hey, yo, what's good? Jan, Select, I see you. Hey, yo, thanks for tuning in, you know what I mean? This is what we do. Luther, what's good, my bro?
WHGE 95.3 FM. Good morning, Nsoromma, my brother.
Come on, chop.
All right.
What's good? Hello, world.
Yes, Lord.
Yeah.
Usually I start off with some history, but I think this is something that we need to deal with right now. And that is the fact that Kyrie Irving, brother, you had nothing to apologize for. All right? They push you into these apologies and this, that, and that. And let me tell y'all something else. Stop coupling Kyrie Irving with Kanye West. They are not the same. And let me tell you why they're not the same. All right? This year, I want to thank Sister Tracy Johnson for this.
Okay.
A few of Kyrie's contributions over the last year. He donated $323,000 to Feeding America. He partnered with City Harvest to ensure that 250,000 meals were distributed to New Yorkers. He's a brother that give a damn. He partnered with Nike to donate 17 pallets of food and masks to the Standing Rock Sioux tribe. He committed $1.5 million out of his pocket to help pay WNBA players who opted out of the 2020 season. All right? He helped them ladies out who don't make enough money and don't get the attention they deserve. He came out his pocket with $1.5 million when the owners of those teams, all billionaires, didn't want to pay him. Go to hell. Kyrie, big ups, brother.
Big up, son.
Paid off the college tuition of 9 HBCU students from Lincoln University. And he purchased a house for the family of George Floyd, according to former NBA player Steven Jackson. Now, the thing about Kyrie is, you didn't know none of that. Because he ain't running around bragging about that. He doing what's in his heart. Not for publicity, not not to be attention whoring. You know? So when he got rolled up on and some people asked him, about his stance and this, that, and the other, and he shared the documentary about Jews and what have you, Hey, he was just sharing knowledge that he came across. There's nothing wrong with that. So, don't put him in no category with some sellout or white supremacist surrogate. All right?
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No, I just don't. I just don't see it.
You don't see?
I mean, the conversations is a conversation. There's no color behind conversation.
Of course there is.
Wrong is wrong.
This is America. Conversations always
wrong
are
is wrong.
tempered by color.
But
so, did Kyrie Irving do anything wrong?
No. Neither one of them, really.
Oh, wait a minute. White Lives Matter. If you selling a T-shirt that supports, look, let me tell you about White Lives Matter. It was popularized as a racist counter response to Black Lives Matter, and is frequently invoked by white supremacists, and has been categorized as a hate slogan by Anti-Defamation League. That's the ADL. That's the same people that are saying Kanye West and Kyrie Irving are anti-Semitic, which, neither one of them, in my opinion, said anything anti-Semitic and had anything to apologize for. But that White Lives Matter, and you know what? Big ups to these brothers that did what they did. All right? Let me tell you about these brothers. All right? Now, we got to understand the story here. If Ye, the rapper formerly known as Kanye West, ever wanted to sell his White Lives Matter t-shirts in the U.S., he'd now be facing trademark infringement. That's because 2 black radio hosts obtained the phrase's trademark. Ramsey Ja and Quentin Ward are the hosts of the racial justice radio show Civic Cypher in Phoenix, Arizona. The duo was given the trademark for the phrase's use on clothing by a listener who reached out wanting them to have it. The trademark was originally secured on October 3rd, the same day Ye wore a shirt with the phrase on it at a Paris Fashion Week event. See, what the listener said, he didn't want not to be associated with this in any way, but he recognized the importance of ownership. See, this was how they shut that crack down. By taking ownership of the phrase. Now they own the phrase. Now white supremacists can't use it without paying them. That's how you deal with them. You get up in the pocket. That's something I know you agree with on getting up in people's pockets.
Yes, sir.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Yo, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was the back end of that. Did you hear the back end of that?
Okay, what's the back end?
Well, it's only something that I heard. You know what I'm saying? The back end of that is that, them same two dudes that supposedly copyrighted it. Cut me down a little bit. Man.
Okay.
The copyrighted it, you know what I'm saying? They didn't have the money to put the copyright work in, paperwork in.
Okay.
And when Kanye wore it, being as though he's famous, they are not able to get their copyrights. They're not able to get it because Kanye made it famous when he put it on.
No, they own it now. They own the trademark. Yeah. So even Kanye can't use it without paying them.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And without their permission.
Right.
See, that's the thing. Without their permission, you can't use it.
Right.
That's what it is. Now, before I get into some history stuff, something we need to talk about. All right. Rest in peace. Even I did not listen to the group. I never heard one of their songs. All right. But I salute anybody that uses their talent to become a success.
Right.
Okay. So I want to say rest in power to Brother Takeoff of the group, the Migos.
True that.
And I want to address this somewhat, even though I meant to bring the list of rappers that have been killed just this year. All right. And the list is extensive and what have you. It's like being a rapper in some places in America has become a dangerous occupation. And I'm not sure if I can put Brother Takeoff in that category because it wasn't just, someone jealous of his success as a hip hop artist and what have you. So there was an incident and it's claimed that he was in a crack game. And of course, there's been conflicting stories on that. He was there at the crack game and, a beef ensued. And he may have actually been an innocent bystander in the situation. The thing is, what's going on with these, young brothers being killed? Why is this happening? Why has hip hop become so violent for the artists? This is something that's, I want to say is almost new, but of course we can date back to Biggie and Pop, with the violence that they suffered and what have you, losing those two young brothers and what have you. And even before then, what was KRS-One's partner?
Scott
LaRock. That was in the 80s and what have you.
I mean, to put a answer on that, you really can't. You see what I'm saying? Because that's going to happen either way it go because the world is created of the yin and the yang.
Okay.
And, ups and downs, right and left, all of that go together with the gravity of the planet. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, and knowing that, it ain't that's not going to happen. It's that you want to set yourself in a position for it not to happen to you.
Of course.
As an individual. You know what I'm saying? And it's sad that we don't look out for each other and ourselves like we're supposed to. Even in, in anything that we do as a black
community.
Right. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And that's what's... When hip-hop first came out, it was a cultural thing, strictly. And it was cultural knowledge. And keeping us informed, letting us know what's going on with the world and how it's affecting us. There was older individuals that was teaching the younger ones coming up.
Right.
And now it's not even about that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just about strictly, putting in their mind all negative stuff. And I mean, how you fix that? That's
yeah. Well, it's something that, like you said, putting in their minds. What has to happen is we have to take back control of the culture and the music. Okay, right. Because now, record companies won't put out positive music.
Right.
I understand sex and violence sells.
But that ain't what makes people live.
Right.
You want the world to live.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you do that
and we have to change people's mindset.
Design, though. It's a strategic design now. It's not for the world. This is happening to a specific group of people. So if they don't, it's a business. The yin and yang come in. That's where it comes in. Well, somebody got to make up for this. We got to do it to somebody. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's crazy.
Now another complaint I have are these street gangs. Okay, when you go to a certain city where they're prevalent, for instance, L.A.,
right.
Miami, New York,
Memphis, Chicago,
Memphis,
all
Chicago,
the major black cities,
right?
Yeah,
where they declare that you have to check in with them.
Who do that?
Yeah.
I mean, that's only if you're a gang member. Like
no, they're saying that to any rappers that come in, that you need to check in with the prevalent street gang, the dominant street gang.
I mean, if you want to not get robbed or you want to live.
Yeah, but who the hell are they? They don't own no damn real estate. And you need to check in with somebody and make you think of what.
But you gotta think they do own that real estate. That's where they at. They don't own nothing else in there. Like they don't own any real estate that they standing on.
No.
But they there, and in their mind,
that's theirs. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yes, they're gonna do that.
But
when you in so much poverty, you ain't got nothing to fight for. But where you at right now, that's what's going on.
You got a point there, brother.
That's what's going on. So how we stop that? How we get them some real land? Get them some educational program, training programs, teach them how to be welders and builders and stuff like that.
Right.
Where's the boys clubs and girls clubs and all the things that we had when we were growing up? This is designed. This is not. They didn't know that we wasn't going to be no more boys clubs and girls clubs.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They don't even know they exist. Some of them because they ain't old enough to know that they was there.
How about that?
Dig?
How about that?
That's serious, man.
Yeah, it is.
The problem ain't us.
No. The problem is not us by a long shot, brother. And like you said, but the thing is, like I said,
right.
You got to change the mindset.
Yeah.
It starts there. You got to change the mindset.
Start with you, brother. You doing it.
Yes, I'm trying
to. They got to tune into you.
Yes, word. That's word. That's why I give big ups to all that participate in the
open eye.
The open eye.
Yeah, share, man.
The open eye.
Call in.
Call on
844-944-3953. You know what it is.
WHGE 95.3 FM.
Yo, what's good, y'all? Y'all got any questions? I'm trying to get to it right now. Hey, good morning. Good morning.
Yes, Steve. Good morning, y'all.
Newer cosmetic dictatorship. That's what Steve Lynch said. Yeah. Good morning, Vaughn. What's happening, brother? Yeah, I see you. Who else tuning in with me? Come on, give it up. Rochelle, what's good, my sister? You know what it is. Keep going. Hey, they got tuned into you today at 1, huh? All right.
All right. WHGE 95.3 FM, the open eye. It's something, I run into this now and then. I know I've been here before with y'all, but a little history. The wisest person ever born to European, Socrates, was only a student to Africans. You Greeks are perennial infants. Not a single Greek is an elder. Now, when Alexander the Freak, the Greek, or whatever he was, when he came into Africa, instead of actually burning libraries, and that's one of the greatest myths of history, one that I had fed into myself, he sent the books home to Aristotle, who rewrote a lot of them and put his own name on them. So a lot of what you think is Aristotle's writings is plagiarism of African writings. And Dr. John Henry Clark teaches us that. White historians claim Alexander and Julius Caesar burned African libraries during the collapse and conquering of Egypt. Now remember, this was late in Egypt's history when Alexander the Great and Julius Caesar came into Africa, and it was well in decline. It was thousands and thousands of years old by that time. Okay. So I just want y'all to be clear on that. And supposedly having destroyed the greatest archives of African knowledge the world had ever seen, our master teacher, John Henry Clark, teaches us otherwise, as I said. Okay? And the thing is, you know, we know through Egyptian history that Greek and Romans sent their philosophers and teachers to study and learn from the minds of Egyptian and African teachers. The greatest minds, Aristotle, Plato, and what's his name, Socrates, okay, they use plagiarized information in the teachings from our African ancestors. And let me tell you something.
What?
It's not just the medicine, it's not just the math and the science and what have you. It's even the architecture. The Roman architecture that you see, you know, they want to claim that the Romans invented, the Greeks and the Romans invented columns and aqueducts and the arch in a doorway and what have you, okay? When you go to ancient Egypt, and these things were there for thousands of years, all right? So don't get it mixed that the Greeks were fathers of civilization. You need to accept the African origins of medicine. You need to accept the African origins of science, and the African origins of astronomy, the African origins of architecture, the African origins of education, because it was the African origins of education that educated the world. WHGE 95.3 FM. Yeah, so the open eye, y'all. Now, let's come on back to modern times. We just went by Halloween. And every Halloween, we get some racist morons want to run around and put on blackface. Like the people out in Utah, these young people, high school students, all right? And don't say, well, it was just them and they just, you know, were not wise enough to understand that you don't do these. No. They learned that crap at home. Mom and dad saw them leave home in blackface and laughed at that crap.
They may have put it on them.
And may have put it on them.
But what I see is, you know, it's forever going to be that person's opinion that's living in the world.
Yeah, because for generations.
We have to, you know, if it's going, you can't. You remember how when we came up there, like sticks and stones, break your bones, names never hurt, and all this other stuff. You know what I'm saying? That our parents was putting into us on keeping our esteem, our self-esteem, so high to that we could take and accept that negativity that you throwing at me, because it's 100 of y'all doing it. So for me to get this done, I gotta block all y'all out. So it was like our parents was training us for that. You know what I'm saying? And today, the kids that's living today is not trained for that. You know what I mean? So everybody got this. It's not right, but you know what I'm saying. You don't have to respond to everybody's opinion. Unless it's right next to you, like on us. If that was right next to us, they probably been stressed out, every one of them, because that's disrespect. And they won't know that until they get punished for that from the people that they disrespect. You know, they didn't go in the hood and do that.
Oh, of course not.
Okay, they was up in their section in Green Millsville, Mississippi.
No, everybody in Utah.
I mean, yeah, I'm just saying that's where they're at. How many black people in Utah?
One,
I mean,
two,
you know, like
7.
half maybe with baby, but I'm just saying that's how they get it off. That's how they get over doing that.
Well, see, the thing is, there has to be consequences.
Yeah,
and that's what some of them suffer.
It's a hate crime.
Oh yeah, it's a hate crime.
It. Okay.
Right. Now what happened was one of the girls, she started one of the girls that was participating in that.
Yeah.
Oh, they was real flippant with it.
Yeah,
Now what I liked about the situation was it was a white chick that rolled up on them and said, "Hey, this is wrong."
Right.
All right? And more of y'all need to participate in that. That this is wrong. And that's what the white girl rolled up on them. And they flippantly said, and she told them, she said, "Now, you know you're not going to get no scholarship and you're not going to get in college because this is now part of who you are publicly."
Right.
Okay? And one of them with the smart mouth said, "Oh, well, we're all high school dropouts," which of course that wasn't so. And he's going to suffer the consequences of what he did, just like his little white girlfriend did. Now she got on Twitter or Facebook or whatever, social media. I'm talking about, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know it was wrong to do that." Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
They planned it.
Yeah.
Before they did it and all of that.
Sure.
But,
and thought it was funny. Now, but that's please stop with the death threats. Please, it's not that serious. Oh, it's not that serious now.
It's serious.
Yeah.
And they expect, people to apologize when they never apologize to us for anything.
That's right. See, that's why I don't do apologies. All right?
Americans never apologized to us or blacks about anything.
No.
And they did a lot.
A lot of them.
Yeah.
Because with apologies, one, you slap my face and then apologize, my face still stings. All right? Two, people rarely apologize or even consider that they did anything wrong until they get caught on their crack. "Oh, well, I didn't know it was wrong to do that." Yeah, you did. But you was going to roll with that until you found out somebody had something to say. You're full of crap. That's word. You take that apology and shove it unless that apology comes with redemption. Okay? Unless that apology comes with you showing that you have advanced beyond the crap that you did and that you are willing to make a change. And most of you are not, because you don't, like I said. And look, I don't want to hear about they want to get sent in for some racial training and this, that, and the other, and what have you. All right? Because that mindset is going to stay there. And when they do get in a position of power, what are they going to do? They're going to discriminate against somebody black.
Right, they're going to unleash it.
They're going to unleash it. Case in point, I seen a brother, he wanted to purchase a truck for his father. Okay? Now, this brother had plenty of money. But what he did was, he wanted to take a loan out and purchase the truck.
Okay.
So he goes to the bank where he banks at, and he tells the loan officer that, he wants to make this loan. And the loan officer looks and says, "Well, you have more than enough to pay for it out your pocket. Why are you taking out a loan for this?" He said, "Well, I want to take out a loan to continue to make a record of how my credit standing is." He said, "Well, you don't really need to do that. You got plenty of money." He said, "Well, I want to fill out the application, and this is what I want to do." So he's hemmed and hawed, and the white dude finally gave him the application, and he filled it out. And he went ahead and left. He figured, well, the process has been started, and I'll get this loan because they know I'm good for the money. And just before he hit the door, something told him to turn around. And as he turned around, he saw the loan officer put his application in the trash. Wasn't going to let him get the loan. So he goes back and he gets another person, official in the bank who outranked this loan officer and told him the same thing. This is what he wanted to do. All right? So he said, "Well, let me take you over here to this loan officer whose eyes got big as saucers when he saw the brother roll up with his superior in the bank." And you said, well, and the superior in the bank told him he wants to take out a loan and this, that, and the other. He needs to fill out an application. The brother said, "Wait a minute. Actually, I already filled out the application. I don't need to fill out the application. Just take the one out the trash that he put in the trash."
Right.
He busted him out. Now, his eyes, now the loan officer's eyes big as saucers and this, that, and the other. And the superior chastised him and apologized to the man and said, "We'll definitely
approve your loan.
Right. And this, that, and the other. He said, no. You can keep your loan. As a matter of fact,
I'm going to withdraw.
I want my money."
Thank you.
Yes, indeed. I want my money. And then when they looked at his bank account, they was like, "Oh, damn. That's X number of $1 million going out of our deposits. Well, you should have thought about that before you hired some racist fool who's going to dictate whether or not black people are able to participate in the financial system without the dictates of some racist fool. Yeah, now your bank lost money and the hell with you. WHGE 95.3 FM, the Open Eye.
Yo, what's good, y'all? You know y'all still here, right? That's what it is. Yo, sister. I know it's sad, right? I don't know if the phone line working or not, because ain't nobody called us yet. Hit us up. I mean, make the phone lines ring. For real. Say, yeah.
WHGE 95.3 FM. Now, it's something, when you're in school, some courses are tougher than others. Some students have a harder time than others. All right? And when you do, you're having a hard time, and say you get a bad grade. Well, you go to the teacher and say, what can I do to improve this?
Right.
And as a rule, when I was in school, the teacher would say, well, look, these are the areas where you're weak, and this is where you need to tighten up. Okay? Well, if your little ego gets involved in that, and you feel as though, this teacher didn't embarrass you by giving you a bad grade.
Right.
All right. You just live with that. When I was in school. Okay. But now, you got these white kids whose self-esteem is wrapped up in their racism. Okay. You had 2 teenagers. They got a bad grade in Spanish. And what did they do? They beat the teacher to death. This was in Iowa. Willard Miller and Jeremy Goodall are accused of beating Nsoromma Grabber to death when they were still 16. They're going to now change. It's been a year, and it's been determined they will stand trial as adults.
Wow.
Yeah, because killing somebody is some grown-ass stuff.
Yes, it is.
And they killed their Spanish teacher over frustration for a bad grade. You know what? I'd have got bad grades before, not many.
Hold on. I want to know, who are these kids, black or white? Because black kids, that don't sound like something a black kid would do. That's just, me thinking,
Mm-hmm.
But what color were these kids?
It were 2 white kids from Iowa.
I mean, 2 white kids.
Yeah. And I
won't hear black kids that do stuff like that. Because they know when they get home, they going to get killed.
That's word.
That's crazy.
That's crazy, man.
Wow.
It's crazy.
That's messy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's messy.
That is, man.
Yeah.
Their lawyer, of course, tried to suppress the information and the evidence that was in the kid's home, because what they did was they actually bragged about it. They got online talking about, we killed that hussy.
Wow.
And I think one of the worst ways to go, and probably one of the most traumatic ways to leave this world, is to have someone beat you to death, because that takes time. And you're going to be killed because they're letting you know that this pain and this suffering that you're under is going to end in your death. Wow. Well, guess what?
What?
These 2 little murderers.
That's what they are.
Yeah, they're going to jail. And they're going to jail for a long time. The penalty in Iowa for murder.
Wow, just imagine if they would have got away with that, right?
Yeah.
And they would have became 27 and 29.
Mm-hmm.
And they would have been, what's my man? That dude, Los Angeles, he's in Los Angeles, he had Los Angeles Skills, I don't know what back in the day. Listen, that heard the dog told him to do it.
Oh, yeah. They would have been 6 serial killers.
Exactly.
Yeah. More likely than not.
They would have been running around.
Yeah.
Yo, that's messy.
Killing people.
That's messy, man.
Or, their killing might have ended with that. Okay? But if a situation came up, maybe they wouldn't have become serial killers. But if a situation came up where their esteem or standing, status, or financial situation
And they
was
need to get
affected.
that.
Yeah, their solution is to beat you to death.
Wow.
That's their solution. That's word. That is their solution. WHGE 95.3 FM.
Yup.
The Open Eye. Patrice Gibbs.
Nsoromma in the building.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Bringing in knowledge.
Yo, what's good? Hey, yo, y'all be hanging in there tough with us, yo. I see y'all, yo. Word y'all do. Hey, yo, Rochelle, 97% of American worst serial killers are white male, mentally crazy. What'd you say, girl? You said they, I know. Yo, Hey, yo. That's what it is. This the Open Eye Radio Show. This is what we doing. We live on the radio and live with y'all. So tune in, hit us up, type it up, talk to it.
WHGE 95.3 FM. Nsoromma.
Y'all.
Patrice Gibbs.
In the building.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Tuesday is election day. We're coming up on the midterm elections. Yes, indeed.
Right.
Now, I used to, or I have in recent times, I follow some people online who claim to be conscious, black people who claim to be conscious.
Okay.
And I'm checking this one brother out, and he's coming down hard on Democratic candidate for re-election in the Senate, Senator Warnock, Reverend Warnock in Georgia, who's running against Herschel Walker. Now, Warnock was given what I consider kind of a gotcha question on reparations from a black activist from the audience. And he didn't handle it well.
Right.
Okay? He kind of glossed over it and then moved on to something else that didn't have a damn thing to do with black people. Now, the brother that showed the video,
Right.
his criticism was he didn't even speak up on reparations, therefore he's just part of that Democratic racist group, even though he's a black man, all right? They don't give a damn about black people because the Democrats don't. Now, I listened to this brother talk this crap and say, probably would be better off voting for Herschel Walker.
They don't even want Herschel Walker where he at.
Have you heard Herschel Walker speak? Have you heard the brother talk?
The boy said ever since Herschel Walker was 16, he had somebody telling him what to do.
So he is not actually his own man.
Right.
Or he is not cognizant or responsible enough as a man to make his own decisions. Okay? That's being kind. Herschel Walker is a damn fool.
Boom!
Basically,
I thought you was going to go home.
Yeah, you know. Now, with this brother that presented the video and has so much, vitriol for the Democrats and saying that black people voting Democrat, basically on the plantation, and we've been doing, okay, let me inform black people like that and white conservatives who want to say that black people are not free thinkers.
Okay.
If they vote Democratic, because the Democrats are racist. We knew that. Just like we know that the Republicans are racist. We got sense enough to know that both parties don't actually give a damn about black people. We are well aware of that. But what we are also well aware of is that the Republicans are some evil bastards, okay, that's going to screw everybody. All right? We are well aware of that. And that's what people need to do.
On the same coin.
Yeah, they both sides of the same coin. But the thing is, like I said before,
let's start our own party.
We need to do that. Okay? Yeah. But when we start our own party, we have to go through the process of taking it over from the inside out. Okay? If we allow the Republicans, whose plan is to cut down or shut down rights for everybody, right? And for those of you that say, oh, well, voting don't matter and this, that, and the other, understand this. Okay, if it didn't matter, they wouldn't try so hard to stop you from voting. That's just common sense. Okay, that's the deal. And I tell you what, if you are actually a so-called free thinker, then you have enough freedom to think in your mind that the people over here on the right, the Republicans, okay, have for decades wanted to shut black people, poor white people, working class people, the middle class, wanted to shut them down. That's why we're in so much trouble that we're in now. Let me tell you something.
What, man? What?
The reason for the rise of Trump, the reason for the right wing being so racist, the reason for the damage that capitalism has done to the country in the past 40, 50 years comes down to one man. And that's the Republican deity, the Republican saint, the Republican satanic devil, Ronald Reagan. Because the things that Ronald Reagan did has done damage not only to black people, who he definitely hated, okay, but to working class people who were stupid enough to vote against their own interests. Wake up. Wake up from that crack. That's where I could go deep into that, but you know, it's some other things. We're running short on time. There's some other things that we got to get to here.
Right.
I had mentioned a couple of weeks ago, and once again, I want to thank my Facebook friends that.
Thank you, Facebook friends.
And yes, indeed, that make contributions and post knowledge.
That's right.
I had mentioned that the American medical system is to black women what law enforcement is to black men. Okay?
Right.
This story right here is real crazy, y'all. All right. Last month, a pregnant black woman named Jillian visited the Philly Pregnancy Center in Norristown, Pennsylvania, to pick up a doctor's note that had already been approved for her. Mm-hmm. Jillian is the mother of a 3-year-old child who has scoliosis. 7 months into her current pregnancy, she was experiencing pain and other complications that made it difficult to continue working as a home health aide, and a doctor had approved a note for her to show her employer to begin her maternity leave.
Right.
Mm-hmm. But when Julian arrived at the clinic, she was confronted by a white nurse practitioner identified by Today as Teresa Smigo, who refused to give her the note and accused her of fraud. The interaction is captured in a now viral TikTok video. All right. What were you thinking about when you got pregnant? That you were not going to work? Smigo said to Jillian. So what this racist fool's stance was that she just came in to get a note and she only got knocked up so she wouldn't have to work. And she said this in front of other patients in the waiting room, likely in violation of patient privacy policies.
HIPAA.
Yeah. Because I had 3 kids I worked up until the second they were born. That's what she said. All right. This is what this racist nurse said.
She ain't had no complications.
She ain't had no complications. All right. Well, I was thinking about having a kid, Julian replied, when Smigo accused her of fraud. Julian responded, it's not fraud. If it was fraud, the doctor wouldn't be getting me a note right now. And how do you know how I feel? How do you know how my body feels inside? Right? Well, the nurse had examined her, and this was her response. Because I stuck my hand up your ass and checked your cervix. Boom! Okay, you checked my cervix, but how do you know how my bones feel? How do you know how my body feels, my legs, my back? How do you know how that feels? How do you know how my nausea feels? How do you know how my cramps feel? As the confrontation went on, officers from the Norristown Police Department eventually arrived on the scene because this racist nurse called them in order to try to block this woman from getting a note from the doctor to support her needing to have time off because of the pain she is suffering.
Hold on, the doctor gave her the note.
The doctor gave her the note. She's
coming to pick it up.
She's just coming
to get it. Okay, and now the cops arrive.
Now here come the damn cops. because this caring nurse who is going to dictate what's what in this woman's body.
She's just supposed to give the note up, so she shouldn't even be even talked about for
right.
Yeah.
Right. There's no need to even have conversation with this hussy, but this nurse has got the note and she's trying to block the girl from getting it.
Right.
You know, eventually she was fired and what have you. You know, and of course, the what is it called?
Did the police snatch her up and shake her around and give her a couple uppercuts and make the baby disappear?
Oh no,
they come in there and do
No, they came in and they were like. Even the cops were like,
I was hot. I was super hot with that one right there.
No, the cops came in, you know, and they were like, this parent
she should have said she want to press charges on her.
Yeah, that's what she should have did.
Right, and that's the response to that.
Right.
She called you. Well, I'm gonna finish it. I want to press charges on her for defamation of character, whatever it may be that you got to do, and then they won't give you the report for that.
That's word. Now, this sister deserves a public apology and so much more, like Nsoromma said. The Philadelphia Pregnancy Center should be held accountable for hiring someone like that. But you know what they did? They said, "Oh, she's from an outside contractor, so it's not really our fault." I be there.
They're in your building.
That's right.
They going under your establishment. They running under your name right now when they are in that building. Yes, you are liable.
You are liable.
Exactly.
All right. Her lawyer said, every day in this country, someone is discriminated against by a medical provider because of their immutable characteristics. Sometimes the discriminatory treatment is fatal.
Yeah.
To be clear, by calling the police, someone at the clinic placed Jill's life and her pregnancy in danger.
Right, her kid in danger.
That's right, which Nsoromma alluded to when he was wondering, did they show up and start beating on this woman because cops have shown up in a case where the pregnant black woman slammed her on the ground, made her lose her baby.
Yeah, they do that. They don't ask questions when it comes to black and white arguing. They come up and clunk the black person in the head because they think that the black person is always wrong, and they train to beat the black sign up because that's what they do. They shoot at all black targets. You know what I'm saying? So in their mind, that's what it is. Get the black.
Yep.
And then that America is training them like that. So
that's right.
We have to really be careful,
right?
You know what I'm
saying?
saying?
Black pregnant people notably face the highest maternal mortality rate in the U.S. and are 3 to 4 times more likely to die from pregnancy-related causes when white women, as a result of racialized barriers to health care and well-documented racism within the medical system. Black pregnant people are also more likely than white people to experience miscarriage and pregnancy loss. Spiegel's mistreatment of Jillian reflects a broader issue. A 2016 study found white healthcare workers and medical students were less likely to believe black patients who said they were in pain. So with this woman, this nurse practitioner,
they say we can stand pain anyway, right?
Yeah.
We
can withstand pain.
About that.
Yeah, we can withstand pain, and you can do things to us because they proved it during slavery that black people can suffer pain and without complaint, or they our skin is.
Wow.
They actually said that white doctors and white medical practitioners actually believe that our skin is actually thicker than white people's. Damn.
WHGE 95.3 FM. 844-944-3953. 84 WHGE 95.3. Hit us up. That's the number.
Yes, indeed. To close out, you want to have a conversation about racism? I want to thank Brother Quinster for this.
Thank you, Brother Quinster.
Okay, let's have it. But it's got to be a very simple one that you understand from up front. As long as you understand that the Emancipation Proclamation did not emancipate slaves.
Right.
Brown versus Board of Education did not end segregation in school.
Right.
The Civil Rights Act of 1964 did not stop discrimination. And the Civil Rights Act of 1968 did not stop hate crimes. So when did these things actually end? Exactly. Exactly. Racism comes from power and authority that comes from the government. Now, the common clapback by a white person will say, oh, but I'm just a regular man. I can't be racist because I don't have power or authority. You're right. A poor white man is not in the position of power and authority. However, because he is racist, because he connects to the ideals of the oppressive mindset, he is an agent of white supremacy. He or she is the infantry of racism. The government is the air cover, and law enforcement and judges are the weaponry.
Right.
A poor person against his own benefit, not understanding that the white racists that he puts in power will be passing legislation to benefit the wealthy, not himself, or even his own ordeal. So therefore, things like education in his community and his own community needs will not be met. However, because he placed a higher priority on seeing marginalized communities being hindered, the advancement of black people or reparations, because those things are a higher priority for him to ensure don't happen, he will then omit the things that are directly affecting him negatively. This is literally through every aspect of society. So when a white person encounters a black person who doesn't like white people, they go, oh, he's being racist towards me, not understanding that's prejudice. And when a black person is being prejudiced towards any particular group, it is a reaction to what they have experienced. Black people are not in a position to hinder or stop you in your life. So often people get confused by this, and that's why they can't make the distinction between what is racism and what is prejudice. When you have not experienced racism, then you will likely react from your very limited experience. Racism programs people. Think about a white person getting into a fight in a parking lot with another white person. And they get into it for whatever reason. They get into it, and when the fight is broken up, that white man is going to associate the person that attacked him by the behaviors of that individual, and that's all. Now, that same altercation take place between that white man and a black person. When the altercation comes to an end, that white person is going to associate all things about black people that they don't like. Oh, that's why y'all violent. That's why y'all need to be locked up. That's why y'all thugs. Never once in the altercation. Yeah.
That's the main one.
Mm-hmm.
That's the main one. That's it.
Never once in the altercation with a white man do they associate the history of white people. Okay, they would never look at him as a potential terrorist or a serial killer or pedophile or the hate crimes that they've committed. They would never see it that way. That's how programming works on racism. And that's how people carry it out as agents of racism. That is how the program of racism works, and that's just not with the individual in the parking lot. Those are teachers, those are doctors, those are police officers, judges, jurors, and politicians. People get disassociated on what real racism is. And that's why people who had mask mandates were feeling like they were being oppressed when the mask mandates were for everyone, not any particular targeted group. Right. And by the way, that's not oppression. Idiots. You'll hear wealthy and successful white people say things that try to characterize themselves as being oppressed. Craziest crap I ever heard. Or somehow having their rights violated when they had no clue of what it is really like to endure racism. And sometimes it's not even white people. Sometimes it's just wealthy people. People are completely detached from fully understanding the scope of what racism is on the ground level. And they'll say stupid crap like this.
What?
Question the death of George Floyd, it hurt my people. I hurt black people, so I want to apologize for hurting them. Because right now, God has shown me by what Adidas is doing and by what the media is doing, I know how it feels to have a knee on my neck. I'll be damned. Oh, no, the hell you don't. It's not like having millions of dollars taken away from you by a corporation. It is not an equivalence of any type of parallel that you can draw to a black man in handcuffs, face down in the street in a public lynching But for a police officer squeezing the life out of him in front of witnesses.
Murdering.
That's murder. All this is a continuous.
You're right on that one, brother.
Okay.
You're right on that.
All right. All this is a continuous attempt to try to drown out a problem that exists. And it starts within our government. Everybody else is part of the problem, or the gatekeeping, or in denial. We're not having the same conversation. Look what's happening on Twitter with all this crying about not having freedom of speech, just so they can be able to be openly racist and use the N-word without consequences. Okay? They always wanted to do, you know? Meanwhile, a black person could be killed by a police officer for saying nothing, just because he refuses to answer questions until the police officer reveals why he's being detained, so he could actually be killed without ever committing a crime or doing anything without even speaking.
I don't understand how the police can be the judge out there and to kill a person.
Yeah.
If I'm supposed to get locked up to go see the judge and I never be able to make it to see the judge to argue my argument, that's murder.
Yes, it is.
No matter how I look at it, we're supposed to be in a justice system. I want to see the judge. Oh, you want to see the judge? No, you don't. Get out the car now. Pow, 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 pow. Oh, he reached for his hat. Yeah, and now he don't get no consequences. The people needs to go get him and stuff like that. You got 400 people outside your house about to burn your house down. That's where it comes in at. We don't see that. But if the black person did that, there'd be so many white people around your house. It's ridiculous. And that's the difference. Our warriors and our mentality to react is different, and that's why they'll always hold us back and always push us down, because we don't protect ourselves. You have to protect yourself. I mean,
to have freedom of speech, requires freedom. This is the Open Eye, WHGE 95.3 FM, and as we always tell you, destiny determines who enters your life, but you decide who stays. Therefore, value those who value you, and don't treat those as a priority.
Who treat you as an option. Yo, you put the mallet down that time.
Yes, I do.
Yo.
WHGE 95.3, the Open Eye.
Y'all got...
Thanks for joining us.
Hey, yo, y'all see your boy? He put the mallet down. Hey, yo, thank y'all for tuning in. You know what I'm saying? Vaughn, Steve, yo, Jason, Gianna, Luther, Rachel, yo, you know what I'm saying? Select. Hey, yo, Rock Bay, you know what it is. Hey, Edward, hey, yo, you know what's good. Rebecca, hey, man. Hey, yo, this is what we do, you know what I'm saying? So, yo, Nsoromma streaming on platforms. You know, go get that. Get some good music for yourself. Get some energy. Yo, Pat.
Yo, thanks for joining us, all right? And listen, like I always tell you, all right? The world was a hell of a lot better place when black men ruled the world. Global African supremacy.
Yeah,